Hey everyone, and welcome back to the HellfireComms livestream. We are finally back with the finale of Final Fantasy XII, the Zodiac Age. Holy shit, it's been so long since we did this. I hope everyone remembered what was going on, because we're gonna speed through things pretty quickly as far as the story goes. But before that, we actually have a couple things to take care of. And the first thing that we're going to be doing is actually the final hunt that is left in the game. Well, I guess next to final hunt. Because we have to go fight a certain ancient man of mystery. And of course, Axel is here to join me for this. Hey, it's been a while since I've spoken to you.
Huh? What? Oh, hi! Sorry, work has kind of killed me.
Axel has been, one, busy with work, and two, busy with TV comms whenever he had free time from work. So, streams in general have been rough for me for multiple reasons, but FF12 was also difficult for that. So yeah, let's go ahead and pick up our mark here, the Ancient Man of Mystery, who I'm pretty sure we all know who this is, especially by that silhouette, if you've played any Final Fantasy games before.
Yeah, clearly it's Austin Powers.
Yes, good guess. Now, I have done the 3 fights that I'm going to be showing off today. I actually have done these off-screen to make sure that I could do them, because it would have been really dumb of me to like set up the secret bosses stream and then not be able to fight the bosses, so I wanted to make sure I got that done.
I mean, you could have just like showed him off even if you got your butt kicked.
Well, depending on how fast you get your butt kicked, you wouldn't be able to show off much of the fight.
True. And
Jackal is correct. We are fighting the man, the myth, the legend, Gilgamesh himself. But first, we have to actually go find him. And fortunately, he's not very far from one of the teleport stones that we're going to be going to, because he's in the Lusu mines. Which there is a teleport stone for if you actually go back and explore all of the hidden areas for it.
And it's really good that he's at least easy to find.
The second part of the fight is a little further in, but still not really hard to get to at all. I'm going to switch to controlling Balthier, because the main thing about the Gilgamesh fight is that there's a lot of stuff you can steal from him, and Balthier happens to be my guy that can steal. So I want to be controlling him. Despite the fact that I have done these fights, I did not watch these cutscenes, actually. I did skip these when I did these before.
And of course we get like one of the best ones right here.
Yeah, because I knew these would be funny, and I didn't want to spoil this part of it.
Now we fight.
Yeah, Gilgamesh in the entire series has kind of been treated a bit as a gag character, in a way, just because like of his antics. But he is dangerous if you're not careful.
This fight, not so dangerous, because this particular fight, the first fight that we do here, is actually set for level 40. All of my characters are level 77. I'm doing way more damage than I should be at this point, and he's going to be doing basically nothing to me. Which is going to make it a little difficult to steal the things that I want to later on, so I need to watch out for that. Each one of these phases that is separated by a cutscene has a separate thing that can be stolen, so I need to watch out for that. And the things that I want to steal, okay, are going to be on this phase right here, and the next ones, so that's why I turned my gambits off. First of all, let's equip Balthier with the Thief's Cuffs so that he has a better chance of stealing. And now we try to steal, and we're just going to keep doing this for a while.
An interesting thing, for those who may have been paying attention, yes, those weapons that he's been pulling out are pretty much replicas of previous Final Fantasy protagonists.
Alright, so I stole the Genji shield, which I honestly didn't really need. I already have one. Bosch is actually currently using it. So there wasn't really much of a reason for that. But it's one of the only places to get it outside of challenge mode. And now we're on to the last phase. Also, yes, the wonderful Battle on the Big Bridge music.
Yep, one of the best songs from Final Fantasy V, and getting put into multiple different Final Fantasy games. I am okay with this.
He has just made himself completely invulnerable to all damage, which I think also means I can't steal from him.
I think you can.
I'm waiting for the notifications in the corner. Yeah, I actually can't steal from him right now, but let's see. I do need to wake Balthier up. Where is this? Yep.
Gilgamesh ready to kick off a bridge.
Let's just let's see. What do we want? Let's just cast this. Who cares? Who needs to worry about healing? Just cast Renew. Fully heal all allies in range.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, the swords, we saw Cloud Strife's Buster Sword first. The blade having the kanji for fake/imitation painted on it, as well as 4 holes instead of the usual 2 for materia slots.
Yeah.
He does pull out Squall Leonhardt's revolver, and instead of Griever, the blade has an image of a chocobo and chocobo footprints, and no keychain.
I think the last weapon he pulled out was also an imitation of the Tournesol greatsword from this game, which is the strongest greatsword. But it's actually like I said, it's a fake version, so it's actually not powerful at all. Hey Mendez, welcome to the stream.
Yeah, the one that he pulled out is the Tournesol, which has a moon symbol on it.
By the way, I forgot I could do that. Thank you, me, for resubbing for 47 months. I actually don't know if Gilgamesh was in FF13. I know basically nothing about those.
He was in 13-2 as a DLC boss, and he actually wields guns. And then halfway through the fight, he's like, you know what, screw using guns, I'm going to use swords.
Alright.
Yeah.
Okay, and now we've got to chase him, like I said, through the mines a little bit, so just going to be running past a whole bunch of enemies. Normally, this area of the Lusu Mines is actually kind of dangerous, but for the level that I'm at, these things don't really matter unless I just kind of stand still in the middle of a bunch of enemies, which I don't plan on doing.
To answer a couple of questions in chat, does he ever use Excalibur? In this game, no, he doesn't use Excalibur. Which is a running joke in Final Fantasy V, because he thinks, oh, I have the Blade of Legend, Excalibur. And then it deals only like single-digit damage, because it's Excalibur, not Excalibur.
That's actually the reward for this hunt. You get Excalibur. And 100,000 gil, I believe, as the reward.
And for Mendez, who's Greg? Greg is the shortened name for Gilgamesh. I forget exactly how that joke started.
I mean, I know it from Final Fantasy XII. This was not the correct way. That treasure chest back there was a mimic, by the way. I need to stop and check my map. Okay. Unfortunately, you can't check the map while fleeing, so you have to let go of the button. Or the trigger, rather.
Oh, that's really stupid.
I'm just going to let Ash reapply all my buffs real quick. Because there's a trap there, and I need float to get over it.
One more sword to mention that was shown in the first fight was Zidane Tribbles, or Kalkun, which is his left-hand dagger, and it is longer than the original and has a differently shaped handle.
I think we might be seeing that one soon, because I think he uses that in the second fight.
He used it in the first one, or at least from what I saw, it looked like it.
Okay.
But unfortunately, ads were kind of like playing, so I had to use like the little tiny corner.
Okay. I mean, I don't know most of the other Final Fantasy games, so I don't know like which weapons are from which game for the most part. Obviously, I recognize the Buster Sword, so.
Well, isn't that why I'm here too?
I mean that. I definitely recognize Tidus's ultimate weapon there, I'm pretty sure.
Close. It's not the ultimate, it's the Brotherhood, which is the sword that Waka gives him.
Ah, okay. I need to put a ribbon back on Balthier so he doesn't get status effects. just making sure we take out Enkidu first, because he's actually pretty dangerous if we leave him alone.
Yeah, Enkidu will ruin you if you're not careful. In this case, with the Brotherhood, it has 2 hooks protruding from the tip instead of 1, and it's more transparent than the original. And the guard has a slightly different design.
By the way, some of you might recognize Gilgamesh's voice. It's the same voice actor as Miguelo, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it is John DiMaggio.
Ah, okay.
In the English version. In Japan, it's Daisuke Gori.
That's the one that I thought was Zidane's sword, but I honestly don't know. Or Zidane.
That one is, believe it or not, Odin's Zantetsuken.
Okay.
It has a skull emblem near the guard rather than being shaped like a lightning bolt.
This is the real Tournesol, I'm pretty sure. Let me turn off my attack gambits for a moment so that I can make sure that I steal the thing, because I'm at 40%, and this is where the important things are at. And I need to put the Thief's Cuffs back on. I keep going to Vaughn.
Yeah, so in the second battle, he does use the Tournesol with the Sun emblem. Both weapons, or both the Moon and the Sun version, share an extra blade running along the curved main blade, and they have shorter, thicker handles than the real Tournesol.
Okay.
And someone did mention Excalibur earlier, and in a way, the use of the 2 differentiating emblems on the swords is kind of a reference to Excalibur and Excalibur.
There's also another thing that is sort of a reference to that we'll be getting at the end of the fight.
Mm-hmm.
Because he does pull out another legendary weapon right here.
Yep, in the final phase, he does pull out one more.
Yep, this is the fake Worm Hero Blade, which we have already been acquainted with throughout this playthrough, because I used it some during some of the previous sessions.
Well, apparently it's actually authentic. It's genuine. It's not cosmetic, or it doesn't have any cosmetic differences from the one that you can wield.
Okay. Alright then.
Also, I love this attack animation because it looks like he's dancing at first.
It's so cool. It's also extremely powerful. He has once again made himself invulnerable, so I'm kind of just waiting.
And of course, this is also the part where, yeah, he's just going to wreck your shit if you're not careful.
Yep.
Like, I saw Ash dying, I saw Bosch dying.
There's a lot of dying going around right now.
But at least Balthier is bringing them back to life.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly, Balthier is Evanescence.
Okay. Yep, Thieves' Cuffs are on. Why are you casting Libra? Oh, because he didn't have a target to attack, so it went straight to Libra instead. Alright, got the Genji armor. Now we can kill the fool.
And as Chad is mentioning, yeah, Gilgamesh is pretty much dimension hopping. And that's why he appears in so many different games.
Okay. I am going to let the rest of this fight play out in the cutscene because I'm being called away. So hope you guys enjoy the rest of this. I'll be back in a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Surprisingly, we killed Enkidu first, and he still shows up. Does he have control over the dimension hopping? I can't remember. I don't believe he does. Because, if I recall, like, the reason that he started doing the dimension hopping was because of X Death in Final Fantasy V. Just be like, okay, I'm banishing you to the Void, and the Void pretty much just leading him wherever the hell it wants to. which explains how he gets into Dissidia, some of the older Final Fantasy games and their special boss fights.
We do have this here to check. It appears to be an ordinary Sword of Legend. So that's why I was thinking that it was a fake thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's just called an ordinary Sword of Legend, so it's like, it's not the real thing, but I mean, maybe it is. Also, we picked up the Masamune, which is the best katana in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Jackal, no spoilers.
Gilgamesh, of course, one last appearance just to grab it. Although he does appear later on in the game if you do the fishing side quest.
He does, which I did not do and will not do.
I don't blame you.
And unfortunately now we have to run all the way back, but I'm going to tell you right now, this is not the worst backtracking that you will see on this stream today. Because we have to go through the Great Crystal again for one of the other side quests. Or super bosses, rather.
So we did mention that he was voiced by John DiMaggio, who, as you also mentioned, voices Miguelo, voices Bender in Futurama, and in Final Fantasy X, he also voiced Waka and Kimari. So, not new to Final Fantasy.
Okay, I was going the very wrong way to get out of here.
And the Japanese version's voice actor, Daisuke Gori, he voiced Fungus in Final Fantasy Unlimited, which was his final voice role in the Final Fantasy series before his death.
Ah, okay. Well, rest in peace.
Having heard some of the Japanese version, he did do a good job, so at least like he can have that on his post-mortem resume.
Mm-hmm. Alright, not far now. Unfortunately, like I said, the next thing we're doing is the Great Crystal, so gotta go through that confusing mess again. And it was actually even more of a confusing mess to get to where I needed to go for that. Fortunately, I have the path already complete and set up. I don't think there's any kind of spell that will automatically exit a dungeon or anything like that, because they have the teleport crystals inside a lot of the dungeons. So you can just warp around using those.
Yeah, they don't have warp or exit in this game, which is kind of silly.
The silliest part, actually, about this is that there is no teleport crystal directly to the Great Crystal itself. We actually have to go to the one at the start of Giruvegan and go all the way through Giruvegan. Actually, I'm getting ahead of myself. I need to go turn in that hunt first, so let's go back to Rabanastre.
Yeah, let's go do that.
Because I don't think the thing that I was going for actually appears until I pick up the next hunt. This is what I get for not having my notes on screen.
Well, I am set to that next section on the guide, just in case if we need it.
Yeah.
Although apparently if you didn't do a certain other fight, then I gotta go back to a previous portion.
Well, because there's 2 secret bosses in the Great Crystal, and you have to unlock gates to get to each one, I actually went through and unlocked the correct gate to reach the thing that I'm going towards. But first we need to pick up the hunt for Yasmat, which should be a very recognizable name for anyone that knows Final Fantasy XII. And I think we actually need to have this hunt unlocked and accepted before the next boss will actually appear. For whatever reason.
I'm not a big fan of Yasmat's design. Granted, at least like Zodiac Age made it better, but still, whoever decided this boss, please stop.
Yeah, well, we'll talk more about that boss when we actually get to it, but we do have something else to do first.
Give me PTSD from Final Fantasy V. Because I know which boss you're talking about.
Something like that. So now, once I actually get back to the teleport crystal, now we will be going to Gear Vegan and into the Great Crystal to find the big bug, which is what we're going after.
The big bug.
Shout out to me when I was testing this out last night to make sure everything was correct, that I did not actually have all of the last couple of rooms before the boss in my guide, and so I just kind of stumbled upon it. Because the last couple of rooms are very linear. It's just a straight line, so I didn't feel like it was important enough to include them. And so I just kind of went into the boss room without realizing it was the boss room.
Oh, jeez, Spar.
Fortunately, you can sit at the entrance and it won't do anything to you.
Okay, that's some good news at least.
It's actually what I'm going to be doing to set up some buffs, because I want to make sure I've got that ready to go before I start the fight, because this particular fight is honestly kind of hard if you don't fight it in a certain way.
I'm trying to remember my experience with the fight, and I don't remember it being too difficult. Like, Yasmet for me was worse, but that's because, well, it's Yasmet.
I'm going to turn on ×4 speed while we're running through here, because Jesus Christ, this is also the wrong direction.
It's Gear Vegan. It's very stupidly designed.
It is, and the Great Crystal is also very stupidly designed. I need to go down this way, as we are running around at the speed of sound. Unfortunately, we're not rolling, because we can't roll.
I mean, you could roll, you just won't really go fast enough.
Yeah.
How long would Yasmet take at 4 times speed? 10, 20 minutes?
Yeah, depending on your setup, probably not terribly long.
Yeah.
It's like the one time they put the path on the left side of the platform instead of the right. It gets me every time.
Level up at than 2 hours in OG? Yes.
Yep, there was no speed up function in the original version, and also the damage cap for all of your outgoing damage was 9999, which you can exceed in this version, so both of those things allow the fight to go much faster.
Yeah, and I mean, they did help alleviate some of that issue with the Zodiac job, or IZJS, International Zodiac Job System version. But yeah, that was Japan only.
Mm-hmm.
Until the Zodiac Age.
There was an unofficial English patch for it, much like there was with like Kingdom Hearts Final Mix and stuff, but yeah. Okay, welcome back to the Great Crystal. I'm going to be hopefully speeding through this as fast as I can.
I miss some of PS2 era Square. Only some, though.
I miss it in the sense that current Square Enix is making a lot of terrible decisions. So... yeah, we're ready to finish the game, Goldmember, but I wanted to show off a couple final things before getting there. Let's see... Where's the exit? There's the exit. And now we will start getting some tougher enemies, and whoopsie. I forgot to put a ribbon back on Balthier. Let me do that. That would explain why he was inflicted with blind, actually.
Yeah, I was surprised that he was able to navigate so easily.
Shit, lost my position. What room am I in? Converu Piss, got it. Jesus Christ, these names.
Can we take the piss out of that name?
Come on, interact with the thing. There we go. I'm controlling Ash because Ash is who I want to be controlling when I actually get to the fight.
Also, I can actually kind of agree with Jackal. I don't miss all the really good stuff being Japanese only.
Yeah.
The final mixes and all that, which I'm glad that they finally brought those over.
That thing instantly killed Ash. Okay. I think left here. Double check what room I'm in now. Okay. And then we go through here, and this gate is open because I had things done already. Straight past the ash worm.
I like how it was like just shaking its butt. Like, oh, I'm dancing to the music. I don't know what music actually plays here, but I'm dancing.
Alright, and now we are on the linear straight path that leads to the Omega Weapon Mark 12. That is the big bug that we are going after here.
Omega. I believe I mentioned like previous parts, like I participated in the Final Fantasy V 4-job Fiesta like over the years, and one of the things I always try to do is kill the super bosses, Omega and Shinryu in it. No matter what team I get. It's not fun to fight Omega. Because it's an RNG type fight.
Okay.
The way Final Fantasy V works is like there are like AI scripts for like how certain bosses will react and fight and all that. Omega is one of them, where he has like a 33% chance of using one of 3 attacks every turn. And one turn he gets 2 turns, and he can do what is known as the "you're dead" combo. The first move doesn't matter. The second move uses the second move has a chance to use Maelstrom, which reduces all your party members' HP to single digits. It's blockable, but it rarely ever gets blocked.
Okay. So what we're going to do now is we have Balthier and Bosch set up with the reverse status, so that any damage they take is actually changed to healing instead.
And of course the opposite too.
Yes. We also have Balthier constantly using the Wither technique, and what this does is it will drastically lower the Omega weapon's damage output, so that hopefully this fight doesn't keep going to shit like this. This is an unfortunate side effect of how this fight is designed, and really just how it has to work. There's no way around this that most people have found. There are definitely other strategies that work, but this is like the most consistent and reliable.
Oh, okay, now I realize why I didn't find this boss difficult. I suppressed it.
Ah, okay. It's more annoying than anything else. I think I'm actually missing a decoy gambit somewhere that I probably should have put on someone, so that Ash is not taking any damage. But, you know, this is working out pretty fine right now.
Yeah, it is. Which job combo you got that made those super bosses the most difficult? For Shinryu, 4 Berserkers.
Ah, okay.
And I've actually managed to beat Shinryu with 4 Berserkers. It's not easy.
Speaking of Berserk, how do I remove Berserk from Ash? Dispel?
Yeah, Dispel, because it's considered a buff.
Okay, yeah, because having Ash Berserked is actually basically the worst thing. Dispel Ash. I'm going to change Ash's yeah, I don't think we need this. This needs to be decoy for sure, because the dying is annoying.
Dying is annoying. Just don't die, though.
In fact, I think we've used Wither enough, so let's take that off and just finish the fight now. By the way, if people are paying attention, in addition to the damage that the Omega weapon does on its own, it actually has what we would call in the Xenoblade series as spike damage. You take damage just from attacking it.
Damage reflection.
Yes. Incredibly annoying in Xenoblade, not much of an issue here, in all honesty.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, that would have gone a lot smoother if I had a decoy set up in my gambits, and I don't know why I didn't, to be completely honest.
Did you write that in your notes to set a decoy gambit?
No, I had the gambits already set up ahead of time, and for whatever reason it just wasn't there.
And don't forget your reward, too.
Ah, yes. If you do not grab this loot bag, it is gone. Completely and irrevocably gone. And that contains the Omega Badge, which is one of the items needed to craft the Worm Hero Blade. Don't need to worry about that, though, because we already have one. And I can go get... I think I have 3. I think I have 3 Worm Hero Blades.
Wait, I thought this was the legendary weapon. Yeah, well, apparently you can just get multiple of them.
Yeah, challenge mode is something else.
Yeah, trial mode in this game is just broken.
Or trial mode, yeah, not challenge mode. I think Ash died on the way to the teleporter. Yep. Okay. Revive her. And... shit, which way do I go out of here? Oh, there's only one exit. Good. Alright, and now we begin the long trek back. Which is just the Great Crystal again. Thank you for coming. It's here all week.
And we never want to see it again.
And we never want to see it again. This is honestly... I would genuinely be surprised if I ever play Final Fantasy XII again after this.
You probably will. Probably
will at some point or another, but it's going to be a while, because I also played this last year. Or I guess when we started this playthrough, it would have been last year. I keep not paying attention to where I'm going. Okay, I need to go left here? No, I need to go right here. Shit.
So while you were gone, I was looking at the HFC Discord, and I saw someone posted an incorrect Final Fantasy quote. I'm like, oh god, I love that Twitter. Pretty much from Final Fantasy VIII. So all these random people are saying that they could beat me in a fight because they are Seed. Little do they know, I have not once ever used the safety strap on the Wii remote, so they can catch these hands. Zell being the sort of stupid I punch things character in Final Fantasy VIII.
Mm-hmm. Alright, this is the one part of my notes that confused me when I tested this out last night, so let's see if I get it correctly. My notes said exit right out of the gate. The part of that being there are 2 gates.
Oh no.
I want to say it was this way. Did I pick the right way? I did not.
Dang it, Spar. This is why we use Google Maps.
This is the correct room. Come on, interact with the thing, thank you.
This makes me wonder, what if Google Maps had access to video game maps too?
I think they do have some, don't they?
Oh, wait, what?
Pretty sure I've seen something like that. Maybe I'm thinking of the GeoGuessr clones instead.
Maybe.
Right, I think this is the last part of the Great Crystal. Are we back to Gear of Aegon now? Yes, we are. Also, Jackal, I do want to play Xenoblade 1 again, because I'm currently playing through Xenoblade 2, and it just makes me want to play the first game instead.
But Spar, touch the chest.
There are websites on the internet for that exact purpose.
Well, I don't know if they let me do that.
Well, let's just say you don't have to play video games to get that part of the experience.
Okay.
I'm enjoying it, despite having many issues with the game. I still think it's vastly inferior to 1 and 3, but yeah, I mean it's fun.
This is based on the trailer alone. Then again, I never played Xenoblade 2, so I don't really know like how his character development goes. But just from YouTube videos, Rex is annoying. But then, like, you see the trailer for the Xenoblade 3 DLC, it's like, so when did he become a dad?
Funny you should ask that particular question, but
I'm sure it's explained in the DLC.
But the amount of time that takes place between all of these things is very ambiguous for very specific reasons. But the reason that Rex and basically everyone in Xenoblade 2 is so strange is because there was basically no voice direction whatsoever.
Oh, that's worse.
They kind of just gave them the lines of dialogue and did not tell them in what context anything was being done. And so they just had to deal with it. That's why the English dub is so objectively bad, I would say. It's just really bad.
So this makes me wonder, like, whose idea was it to not give them any voice direction? Was it the voice director? Which is technically your job because it's practically in the name?
Yeah, I mean, it is.
Or was it someone above him, though?
Alright. So, got a couple things to do here. First of all, I'm going to put Vaughn in the party real quick. Let's see. You do not need a ribbon. Vaughn needs a ribbon.
Xenoblade 2 has a character that's voiced by Japanese Kaiba, and that makes it the superior dub easily. But does he sacrifice God?
There are a lot of ways that I could answer that question, by the way. God is a very ambiguous subject in the Xenoblade series.
I can imagine, so... The English voiceover was rushed. If it was indeed rushed, like, oh crap, we have to do these English voiceovers, then someone really messed up and dropped that ball.
Uh-huh. It's honestly pretty terrible how bad everything really is. See, I'm just making sure all my buffs are on before I go in, so that I don't have to worry about it once the fight has actually started. Let's see. Is Ash casting haste? I think everyone has haste? Yeah, okay.
Like, all this discussion about, like voice acting and bad voice direction and all that, it's just, like, reminding me of the Resident Evil 4 remake, because everything except for one character has bad voice acting. And the one person that has bad voice acting is Ada Wong, who they replaced for the person who played her in the Welcome to Raccoon City TV series on Netflix or whatever. And it's like, yeah, she was not a good fit in terms of how she sounds.
So now what we're going to do is swap all of those characters out of my party so that all of their buffs stay active. And to answer your question earlier, yes, I do actually have all of these save files. Every time I saved during this playthrough, both on and off screen, I made a new file so that I would not overwrite something.
So is the save file right before you go to the final boss going to be save 100?
Probably.
I feel like you're going to save on purpose just to take up that slot.
It's going to be really interesting that it's going to work out that way. Alright, so we're running down here. And through this doorway right here. And there he is. There's the big lad.
You stupid little... Well, I guess you're not little, but you stupid.
You stupid dog, you made me look bad.
Booga booga booga.
Alright, here we go. Yazmat. Hope you guys are ready to sit here for 4 hours. No, it's definitely not going to take that long.
I was about to say, in that case, Spark, can I like go make some food and then come back up when it's done?
I am going to let this start at 2 times speed, and then once I get into proper rhythm, I'll change it to 4 times once we actually get going properly.
I mean, you're already in 4 times.
Did I leave it at 4 times? I think I probably did leave it at 4 times. That's my bad. That means Omega was left at 4 times, which I did not want, but whatever. As you can see, Balthier is once again using Wither to lower Yazmat's outgoing damage, because that's really important and is going to help a lot for most of this fight, because he is constantly attacking. And I think I can probably stop, because he's already down to like 30 damage, so I don't think I need to worry about that too much. So what I'm going to do now is turn that off so that Balthier starts using another technique, which is going to be way more important, I feel. This is the Expose technique, which is going to lower his defense.
Remember not to expose yourself, otherwise the cops will come after you.
And we're going to do this a whole bunch so that Yazmat will actually take more damage, because as you can see at the top of the screen, my dude has a lot of health bars.
Yeah, so I guess like a few stats on him. He is level 73, so he is not affected by any level-based spells, too. He has 50,112,254 HP exactly. And that's why you see all these bars.
Yes. And we're not going to get through very many of them in this early part. But they will start going much quicker once all the exposes are done. And I swapped Balthier out of the party because I will be changing into something else which is really good. Which you have recommended to me several times throughout this playthrough.
Yes, I have. And another interesting thing is that Omega Mark 12 that we fought earlier, it's level 99, but it only has 1,037,069 nice HP.
Ah, okay.
So, yeah, this one has like 50 times more HP. Why? Fuck knows.
I think, if I recall correctly, the lore behind Omega Weapon Mark 12 was that it was created to destroy the, I can't remember their names. All the summons?
Oh, the Espers.
Espers, yeah. It was like created or sent by the Akuria to destroy the Espers or something like that.
I know, like, there is also some bit of backlore with Final Fantasy Omegas. Specifically, like, how it was created, it was a calamity or something, and it, like, just... It doesn't die, it just evolves. So I guess it's like the Final Fantasy version of DC's Doomsday.
Alright, and things are going to go much faster now that we have Vaughn here in our party using the Yagyu Darkblade, which is a dark element weapon which Yazmat is weak to, for whatever reason.
It's his only elemental weakness, and you want to exploit it as much as possible.
Yep. Bosch is actually equipped with a weapon called the Great Trango, which is one of a set of weapons or equipment in this game that actually has no model. So if you've seen him swinging around an invisible sword, that is why. It is basically one of the strongest one-handed weapons, definitely the easiest of the strongest one-handed swords to get. And it also means he can equip a shield, which makes him good for tanking. And Ash is of course here on my healing and support duty, which really I don't have to do a lot of healing because of all those withers, but eventually we'll need to be doing a lot of raising because of a certain thing that he will start doing probably pretty shortly. And every so often I just cast Hastega to make things go a little faster.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine the image that's on the stream is actually just a jumbled mess of colors because of how fast everything is moving.
Kind of.
So I apologize for that, but you guys will be able to enjoy this in moderately good quality on YouTube. I think once he reaches about 70% health, which should be soon, he starts using a new attack called Death Strike, which will automatically kill a party member that it targets, unless they have the shell buff on them, in which case it's only a 50% chance to kill. I think all of his normal attacks also have a chance to insta-kill, but there's not much I can do about that.
Yeah, they do, and that's why it took me so long. Like, I've mentioned before, I left it, like, I was working nearby, so I set it before I left to go to work. For my lunch break, I went home, and I saw, oh crap, I have to actually, like, do something, so I did. I ate my lunch, went back to work, came home a couple hours later, and I still had to, like, do that and watch for, like, another 4 hours.
Yep, there's the Death Strike, so what I'm going to do now is change one Gambit on Ashe to add Shelga into the mix, so that will get cast, hopefully, sometimes. Personally, I think maybe I should put Shelga a little higher to avoid the Death Strikes, but at this point I think the damage is a little more helpful, so we'll see. Maybe we'll start putting Shelga a little higher.
I kind of like wish I looked this up like when we were fighting Omega, but yeah, Omega actually got like some more story detail in Final Fantasy XIV as part of the Omega Raid series.
Yes, I think it might be the same Omega weapon, but I'm not sure. The Omega weapon that's in Final Fantasy XIV is said to have become from beyond the Rift, basically came from another part of the universe, or another planet, I guess, the same planet that spawned the dragons. I won't get too much into it for spoilers, but basically that Omega weapon was created to destroy the dragons and followed one to the world that the game takes place in.
Is the name of that one dragon a spoiler? Because if not, I will mention it since it kind of fits in with some of the other Final Fantasy games too.
The name of that dragon is Midgard Swarmir.
Oh, I was going to say Shinryu.
It is connected to Omega weapon, but it did not come here because of Shinryu. Shinryu is a different thing in Final Fantasy XIV. A lot of people are actually not quite so happy about Shinryu's inclusion in 14 because of the way it was adapted, but I won't get into that.
I think I've seen like a couple of videos of it. In fact, if I recall, he also has like a really good boss theme.
I mean, that's kind of a constant for FF14 at the very least. It's always going to have good music.
Yeah. It's either like you get a remix of a classic Final Fantasy theme because they're using a classic Final Fantasy boss, or it's like, okay, here's like a unique boss for this game. We're going to go super hard.
Oh yeah. No matter who's doing the music for 14, you know it's going to be good, and it's usually one guy whose name escapes me at the moment, unfortunately. Nat would probably be upset that I don't remember the guy's name. But I am kind of focusing on this as much as I can right now. Yes, Soken. Thank you, Nathan.
Oh, I was gonna say it's Nobuo Uematsu because
he does some of it, but Soken is the main composer for FF14.
And yeah, Xehanort, as I mentioned earlier, he has 50 million HP, and Omega, who we fought earlier, has 1 million.
Yeah.
I need like a list in order of HP values for all the enemies in Final Fantasy 12 now, because I'm actually kind of curious. What is the second highest HP value, and who has it?
I was actually doing less damage than I should have been because I forgot to put the Berserk Gambit on Vaughn.
Oh.
So he was actually attacking slower and doing less damage than he should have been, but I think we're good now. Some of you may have also noticed that this arena is full of traps, and a lot of them are instant kill traps, so I do need to avoid them.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I wonder if maybe that's why I was also dying as well, because like characters are just getting either knocked into or walking into the traps while I was gone.
Yeah, because your characters do kind of shuffle around on their own, like when they're doing stuff, and also that Cyclone attack will knock you back a few steps as well. Bosch is kind of getting a little bit further away than I would like him to, because I want Ash to be in between the two characters so that she can heal and stuff.
So yeah, this is pretty much with the boss fight. You just like watch it, you just wait for it to end.
Yep. I think I've mentioned before that I used to just love reading like the guides and FAQs for this game, and even though I never actually wanted to fight the bosses, I just loved reading about them. And I never looked up videos either, actually, until recently, but I love just imagining what this fight looked like as I was reading through it, and the guys that would describe it as like, yeah, you can just set up your gambits this way and set the controller down and walk away for 2 hours. Which is not entirely true, I would say. You do need to keep an eye on things, but for the most part, you are just kind of letting the gambits do their own thing. That shell keeping Ash from dying right there to the death strike, so that's good to see. Unfortunately, Bosch and Vaughn are not having such luck.
I will say, like, even though it does share the same worm design as a couple of other enemies and bosses, I do like the little circular thing around its head. Mm-hmm. Although I'm trying to remember what it's called.
It shares a similar design, but it does have a lot of unique points to it.
Yeah.
I believe they also brought back this design for the Yazmat boss fight that is in Final Fantasy XIV, which is not fought in the same way, but does also have a ton of health. You just basically do a special section that takes out most of it immediately.
I also just remembered something. Obviously, I've talked about Mobius Final Fantasy a lot in the past, and Yazmat was also a card that you could use with the Monk class. And the little special attack it does with the tornado, that's what the attack was.
Oh, okay.
It was also overpowered as fuck.
I imagine so. So Yazmat just used Growing Threat, which doubled its level, which means I think it's now like level 150 something?
146.
Yeah.
If that's how it works. Like, it could just be capped at 99 or something.
It might cap at 99, but I doubt it. If it was 70... Well, you said it was 73? Yeah, so 146. Alright, I think we're down to the last few health bars here. I think we have 8 left, now it's 7. He's still taking tons of damage, but he's taking significantly less because every boss gains higher defense when they get down to low health. You can see him flashing red and orange there.
And it looks like he still has, like, 7 health bars?
Yeah, we've got 6.5 left, it looks like now. Oh, someone just stepped on a trap, but no big deal. Alright, getting there. When I did this last night, he used a Cyclone when he had like 10,000 HP left. It was just one tiny sliver on the last bar and he used a Cyclone. And of course you have to sit through those cutscenes.
Oh yeah, that's right. It was Cyclone, and if I remember correctly too, the card was also like a low chance pulling. It was a rainbow card.
Oh, okay. easy to miss, but he did do something right there which can definitely destroy your entire run near the end of the fight. He actually starts casting Reflectica on your party so that all of the spells you cast will reflect onto him. Do not cast a Reflected Renew. That will fully heal him.
Yeah. Some people have done that.
Uh-huh.
And I feel bad for them.
Alright. Almost there. 1.5. Last health bar. Let's go.
Woo!
Can we get one more Cyclone for the road?
Doesn't look like it.
Yep. One more Cyclone.
Oh, okay. If I go down, I'm gonna destroy this place with a cyclone. And not actually destroy it.
Alright. Well, that was the Yazmat. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Honestly, the setup is way more interesting than the fight itself, I think.
Yeah.
This game is honestly more about the setup than the actual fights. Just entirely because of the way the gambit system works.
Mm-hmm.
Because there are some really cool things that you can do, and Godspeed to anyone that ever tries to play this game without using gambits and manually selecting everything through the menu.
And without speed up.
And without that too, yes. That's another thing altogether. Alright, let's change my gambits back. Honestly, that's fine. Bossier can have this. I keep pressing the wrong buttons. And we'll put Ash on 3, I think is her normal setup. And now we out. Now I've got to go back and turn in the completed hunt. Which does have its own unique cutscene, so we'll get to see that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad the people that have never seen these fights before are finding them interesting, because it is kind of fascinating to see this stuff done if you've never seen it before. But that's all for the super bosses now. Once we go turn in this hunt, we'll be ready to finish, to be honest. And that's not going to take very long either, because the game expects you to do the final boss at like mid-40s, I think, casually. And we're at 77, like I said earlier, so Vane, you got a storm coming, honey.
So, I'm just going to say this. I am kind of disappointed in you, Spar.
What's that?
You had 69 teleport stones, and you just used one.
I am very sorry. I'm probably going to use... No, I don't need to use another one. If I had bought one more teleport stone, we could have finished at 69 for this playthrough, because I actually don't need to teleport to finish the game.
Yeah, Vane is gonna probably just not be a difficult fight here. And yeah, here is the unique cutscene we get for defeating Yazmat.
Yes, all of the Moogles that we have seen, all the named Moogles, are actually all part of the same family, whose master was killed by Yazmat, or something along those lines. And we have avenged them, basically, and destroyed the vilest creature to walk the lands of Evilise.
And I believe even one of the Moogles is actually on the Strahl, too, because I remember seeing the text for Strahl.
Yes, no, the Moogle that is actually the repairman for Balthier's ship. Either that or just works in the aerodome.
Yeah, that might be... That's probably more likely.
And so we also got the Godslayer badge, which is another one of the things needed for the Worm Hero Blade. The last one is the Lu Shang badge, which you get from the fishing minigame. Guess what minigame we're not doing?
We're not doing the fishing minigame, and you have to catch the King of the Nebra 10 times in the fishing side quest to actually get that.
Yes, I didn't even bother to begin it. No part of it sounded interesting whatsoever. I'm actually going to make my final save right here. So, save file number 100. Let's go.
Hooray!
I need to get Vaughn out of my party because he does... 1, he's berserked, and 2, he's got the Yagyu Darkblade, which is not going to be good against most things. Let's see, I want... this desk, yes. Private airships, because I want to use my own. Ah, yes, okay. I hate that they put the Bahamut so close to Rabanastre to say the word correctly, so that you could select it by accident. But, we are away. We are now locked into the finale of the game and cannot return. So, I hope you guys are strapped in for probably about 20 minutes plus credits, because I don't think this is going to take very long.
I will say that it was very kind of Vane to not destroy Rabanastre while we did all those side quests, so thank you, Vane.
Yeah, for sure. Also, high fidelity graphics. Nice to see these.
Yes, indeed.
It would be cool if they could update these, but because they're pre-rendered, I guess there's no way to do that in a new engine. They would have to do them from scratch. So I fully understand. Just basically up-resing the old PS2 footage as much as they could.
Yeah, like AI upscaling or something like that. Maybe even like a bit of texture redesign with the AI or something, because I know that's something a lot of companies are doing nowadays with like remasters and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Make your target the Resistance heavy cruiser.
Our dear Sid?
Well, Nathan, you're talking about the company that apparently lost every bit of the source code to the original Kingdom Hearts, and had to make it from scratch, supposedly, for the 1.5 collection, so not surprised that they lost some of the pre-rendered scenes from this game, or just didn't reuse them.
Mm-hmm.
Let us make of this an offering. One he might see even now. Vana, what say you?
Vana, a name which also means something to people that play Final Fantasy XIV, but a very different character there than Vana is here. Let's just say in 14, Vana is a good person. And in this game, not at all.
And if I remember correctly, the Bahamut was also a stage in Dissidia Final Fantasy that you can fight on.
Oh, okay.
I could be remembering wrong.
Oh, yeah, that weapon's probably bad. We should probably do something about that.
Why this?
In case you needed any more evidence that your brother is a fucking jackass, Larsa, there you go.
We will answer their attack head on and destroy them.
After just doing a quick check, yeah, it indeed was the Sky Fortress Bahamut as a stage in Duodecim.
Hate you the more.
And should I pardon them, they will only rise up yet again.
I do not believe they would. In cooperation lies our hope. You are mistaken. You are wrong, brother.
And if I am? You had best find the strength you need to correct me then.
Vane really just said skill issue.
The Resistance fleet, my lord.
Meanwhile, Rabanastre was also a stage in the Dissidia NT.
Oh, okay. I tried...
Today we write the
I think I tried the
page
first
of a new
Dissidia and maybe a
history.
bit of Duodecim, and I
Our
didn't really
history.
care for them.
Each of you must play his part.
I did actually play NT because when I got my PS4, I don't think I got... Either I didn't get my Kingdom Hearts 3 because I ordered that with it, and I'm like, well, I got nothing to play. Oh wait, Dissidia NT is free. They get let you try out a couple of characters, and they rotate it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, let me play this for a bit. And it was fun for a while.
I think that's the general consensus on the game. Like, it was great for that one weekend, and then it kind of went to shit for whatever reason.
And I actually remember when before it launched, Square was even getting in touch with the fighting game community and even hosting a tournament on, if I remember correctly, I think it was Wednesday Night Fights. And I was remember watching it. And it's it was interesting, but then it just died off.
By the way, in case nobody thought that Star Wars was an inspiration for this game, because I think it's pretty clear right here. Yeah, Nathan just said so in the chat. This is just Star Wars. Icebrand
being one of the weapons that you can get in the Final Fantasy series.
And in this game, actually. One-handed sword usually has an ice element.
Yep,
hence the
even
name.
in all the other Final Fantasies.
We have a clean line.
Prepare the second volley. Be quick. By the gods.
This is a really long cutscene.
Really is.
I feel like this is a little bit too much build-up for how pathetic the actual fights are going to be.
Isn't that most RPGs, especially when you do all the side quests?
Yeah, if you end up over-leveled, that's definitely the case. Usually, my problem with this game specifically is that if you don't prepare, the fights suck. And if you prepare, then the fights are easy. And there's not really a middle ground. Also, wow, Ondor, what happened to your graphics?
What are you saying? You
A
are too
lot.
rash. Your duties come after the battle is over.
If we allow them to destroy us here, there will be no after. You must assist our charge.
Stop. You must pull back. Stop the stall.
Hold it. Wait. This is Master Solidor.
Also, I guess a little interesting thing, because I noticed it very quickly. One of the ships that they mentioned that got shot down was the Galaval, which is can be a slight nod to Final Fantasy V, where one of the characters is named Galif, and his home is Val Castle.
Ah, okay.
Leave it to us.
And there's even a couple of others, actually, too.
Understood. Our fate is in your hands.
Yes.
Marquis Ondor's ship is called the Garland, which is kind of an obvious reference.
I forgot about this Chekhov's gun with the voice changer. It's so long ago where that showed up in that cutscene that I forgot Vaughn uses it here. Why couldn't they have just had Larsa, send a communication from the ship that he's in? Because, he could just do that. Why did they need Vaughn to be using the voice changer?
They gotta give a reason to get them on the ship, I guess.
Well, they were gonna get on the ship anyway.
Ah, you want to dance? Then let's dance.
I forgot how long this intro is, I'm gonna be honest.
It's not easy being this popular, you know?
Also, don't worry, they all have their parachutes.
There it is.
Again, this is Star Wars. You're right, Nathan. I was about to make a joke about how we're going to have to leave the Millennium Falcon behind.
Come on.
All right, are we gameplay now? Can I play the game? Okay, a little more cutscene, just a tiny bit more.
The Sky Fortress Bahamut.
Vane will be in the fortress's command tower. I saw something of the like on our way in here. Right above our heads.
Hey Jeppo, welcome to the stream.
We need
Hello.
to fight all the Empire to win. If we can get to Vane, we can put an end to this war.
Let's
What
get
Ash
moving.
is saying is correct, and we will be
Finding
ignoring
where he's
basically
perched in
every enemy on the way to Vane. I don't think it matters which door I go out through here, but I'm just gonna go. Let me turn the speed down to ×2, though. ×4 was fine when we were doing Yazmat, but yeah, you guys don't really matter at all. Just gonna run right past everyone there.
Yeah, Spire has killed like thousands of you. How's the British Final Fantasy game so far? Well, we did a lot of the side quests that we didn't finish earlier.
Yeah, we fought Gilgamesh, we fought the Omega Weapon Mark 12, and we fought Yazmat, so we got all of that out of the way, and now we're actually finishing the game. Like Axel said, really nice of Vane to just kind of sit there and wait for us to get everything done. Are there any plans for after FF12? For today, no. Eventually I'm going to be continuing and finishing my Pokemon Emerald randomizer. And after that, I really don't know, because real life is just kind of a mess right now, and I don't really want to commit to anything else. Having to cancel constantly is really not great for my mental health, so I might just take a step back from streams.
Is this their worst?
The line is drawn.
And looking through a bunch of the other ships actually that are in Final Fantasy 12, yeah, there's like a lot of them that are like named after like the old Espers, Eidolons, or whatever summon name they were given in the previous Final Fantasies, like the Alexander, the Adamus, the Bahamut, obviously, Carbuncle, Ifrit, etc.
Yeah, earlier we had the Ifrit and the Leviathan, so...
There's an Odin, Pandemonium, Catoblepis, Remora, Shiva, Valfair, although it's not the same spelling as Valefor from Final Fantasy X. And then of course you got like the Resistance ships, which is Garland, Galifal, Queen Hilda from, which is a reference to Final Fantasy 12 or 2, not 12. This is Final Fantasy 12. You can also technically say Final Fantasy 9 as well. The Zizat Surgate, which is a reference to Final Fantasy V, Zizat Matthias Surgate. That's really all of them. What was Final Fantasy XII's reception at launch? That's a good question, actually.
I think it sold well, but I think generally people didn't like it too much because of the gameplay and story not being, I would say, up to par for the FF series. Also, yeah, Gabranth is here.
Let's see. Final Fantasy XII was met with widespread critical acclaim upon release. It was praised in particular for its innovative gameplay systems that made a sharp change from previous titles, technical accomplishment on the PlayStation 2, presentation, and scenarios. Critics praised the gameplay and noted that of its stark change of direction from previous titles. Game Informer stated that while they were apprehensive at first, the result is fast, efficient combat that is packed with strategy and dependent on characters' roles within the team.
I wouldn't call the combat fast in the base game, for sure. That's definitely not a word I would use for it. Maybe that's because I've been using the speed up now.
I would say, well, probably that too, but I would also say, like, once you set your gambits, you never have to really do the commands, so you don't have to, like, stop gameplay just to choose a command like you would have to in, like, the previous Final Fantasies.
Right, yeah.
I do as I must, brother. Or is that not answer enough?
I didn't even pick up my controller.
As long as I remain, I shall not be defeated.
Other than that, Metacritic gave the original PS2 version a 92 out of 100 and gave Zodiac Age an 86 out of 100. What the hell is wrong with them?
Huh. Interesting.
Most of the reviews are for Final Fantasy PS2, so you got like 4.5 stars, 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10 from EGM. Wow, that's a throwback. Eurogamer gave it a 10 out of 10. Famitsu gave it a 40 out of 40, which is not like often that they do that.
Again, the weapon the Bosch is using is the Great Trango, which is a one-handed sword that does not have a model. It is completely invisible. There's also a shield that is invisible, which is the best shield in the game. So it absorbs all elemental damage and has like 90 evade and 90 magic evade stat, which is insane.
Noah.
There's a couple other joke weapons, like there's a club weapon, which is basically a trying to think of the word, a barbarian's club or a caveman's club or something like that.
Oh, like a bone?
Yeah, well, there's the bone, and then there's another one which is basically a joke weapon.
Oh, like the old, like, classic cartoon caveman club?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
No, actually, I did not break FF12. It's a thing that's in the game, and you can get it normally by, I think you have to steal it from certain enemies or something. But I think you can also get it from trial mode, which is probably what I did.
And there are other weapons in the game that also have no model, and that's purposely designed.
Right, yeah.
The Sight and Grap being one of the most infamous ones because of how easy it is to get.
Yeah, that one in particular I would say is definitely not developer intended because of where it is and how powerful it is.
I think that it is. It's just like the RNG manipulation method isn't intended. But that's just how they designed the game.
Well, because it's so horrendously powerful, has no model, and everyone can use it, it honestly feels like a test weapon.
I am simply myself. No more and no
Well,
less.
Jeppo, Final Fantasy XII does have a Bahamut. We're in the Bahamut right now.
Yeah, we are on the Sky Fortress Bahamut. This one is different in that it does not have a lot of the staples like Bahamut that the series is known for.
Yeah.
It definitely goes for kind of a different thing.
Observe well, Asa. Watch and mark you. The suffering of one who must rule, yet lacks the power.
Looking like a little bit more at the reviews, I'm still surprised that the Zodiac Age was rated lower than the original PS2, which is...
No, brother.
How?
I will not.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense to me.
I mean, I guess it's like, okay, like, at the time when it came out, it was really good, but right now it's like, it's a re-release, so is it, like, the extras worth it? I would say it is, honestly.
It might be a sense of, like what you said, like when the game came out it was better, but now it's not. Like if they reviewed the original now, it would probably get a lower score.
Yeah, most likely.
Because, I mean, I wouldn't give this game a 92. I don't think I would give this game an 86. In fact, I have to score this game later tonight when I put it on my media thread. So check out that on my Twitter, I guess. Once again, I'm basically just not going to touch the controller for these. I don't really need to. Ridiculously overpowered for these fights.
What am I to do with those who would oppose me?
He actually survived long enough to use a cutscene attack, probably because I had Ash casting Hastiga.
Probably. And for those who do not know, Vayne Solidor was also added to Dissidia NT as a DLC character, too.
Ah, okay.
With, You know what, I should just look up the entire character list, because I'm actually kind of curious. I know Vaughn is in it.
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know if they put Gabranth in there or if they put like someone else for the city NT.
Unfortunately, this was not Vane's final form.
Oh, no, apparently Gabranth is in there. Okay.
Looks like Vane got anchor arms, and now he's a jerk and everyone hates him. I know that's not how the line goes, but nobody loves Vane.
Oh, and to answer your question, Jeppo, yes, Bahamut is in Final Fantasy XIII. It is Fang's Eidolon in Final Fantasy XIII, and one of Lightning's in 13 too.
Ah, okay. This is all really fancy and everything, but, you're gonna die.
God, look at that face!
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the close-up was not nice.
Yeah.
Gabranth, you will defend my brother. He will have much need in the hell to follow.
Yes, I will defend Lord Larsa.
The hound strays.
Yeah, Gabranth is a bro.
Bears a price.
One I gladly pay.
I wish he took off his helmet here for this fight, though. I like how everyone squares up like all of the party is going to be here, and it's like, no, we good. I don't need a healer in this fight, I'm going to be honest.
I mean, you're just gonna murder him, so...
Ivalice will know a new dynast king, and man will keep his own history. The tyranny of the gods is ended. We are their puppets no more. The freedom for which we have longed is at hand.
Yeah, but this is a Vane Novus, which is his second form.
Yep.
In the City NT, his default costume, the Imperial Consul, is his default appearance in NT, but this form is actually his alternate costume.
Ah, okay. This is a really fancy attack animation. Be careful you don't destroy your own, like, fortress, my dude.
Yeah, he can kind of live through it.
That did 800 damage. He made himself immune to magic at the last second. Oh no.
Oh no, if only I had physical damage. Oh wait.
Oh, he didn't take off his helmet before so we could have this moment. That's what it was.
Let's be honest, the helmet looks cool anyway.
Yeah. I just think taking it off would have been a good sign of him, like, renouncing his ties to the Empire, but I guess he's really not, just his ties to Vane, because he's loyal to Larsa still.
Mm-hmm.
That was not a good line read.
It wasn't.
Says the person who can't hear.
I don't know, I could actually turn that audio up whenever I feel like it.
Once again, Chekhov's gun coming into play with this thing that can absorb all magic.
Yes, the manufactured, not the site.
Yeah, Vaughn, poke him in the chest. He literally just pushed him over with the sword. He didn't even stab him. It just clinked off of his chest and he fell back.
Which is weird, because that thing is a sharp blade. How the hell did that not pierce him? I mean, I guess Vane's just that swole.
Yeah. Got them gains, man. Gotta spruce this place up for the gains.
Jeez. What the hell do they feed these Arcadian dictators?
Mist. Lots and lots of mist.
Shit, can I get some of that? I mean, we have Sierra Mist, does that count?
They just sit at their computers playing the Mist games all day long.
Fuck! I never played that.
I hope everyone's enjoying me just making a mockery of these boss fights, by the way. I think it's hilarious. These fights are, like, honestly kind of terrible without the setup, so it's really fun to just completely dismantle them.
Indeed, it really is.
And here is our final boss arena.
Mm-hmm.
This is it.
Penna! I have failed us both. I am no Dynast King. You must find another. One who might realize your ambitions.
He's trying to pass on his memes, Jack.
I can't believe that you just went there.
I mean, he's buff like Armstrong.
Yeah, but no nanomachines, son.
No, it's more like nano machines. No, that didn't really work that well.
Yeah, no. Speaking of breaking things in half in Final Fantasy games with their own mechanics, in Final Fantasy VIII, for some reason, Zell's Limit Break is just stupidly overpowered. Yeah, you just, like, use the 2 basic attacks that you get, like, at the very start of the game, and you just repeat that. Because it's one of those, like, do as many attacks or attack inputs as possible within a time limit, and every time you do an attack input, the timer stops to play the animation, so you just spam the same 2 easy-to-use attacks, and then you just deal so much damage.
That sounds a lot like what they did to Trinity Limit in the Switch Cloud version of KH2, where Sora's part of Trinity Limit just suddenly graphics upgrade, just never actually finishes, so you can keep doing it over and over. And Trinity Limit just basically does infinite damage.
Yeah.
Man, he's so powerful. Check out how much this cutscene is making him look so powerful right now. This is basically just Armstrong. He's gathering all the stuff together to make armor.
So at least we found the inspiration for where they got him from.
And he's making himself wings, which he really doesn't need, but he's just a dramatic asshole like that.
Well, he wants to fly.
He can fly already.
Wait, was he able to fly before this?
He could float, at the very least.
So, falling, but would stop. Yeah, he kind of looks a little bit similar to Ashura from Ashura's Wrath.
Alright, well, time for the boss fight, I guess.
Now fall... Wait, wrong boss. This is the Undying.
He doesn't even get a health bar. His health is completely lost to us. Let's see if I can use Libra to help with that.
He does have a specific amount of health, of course. He's just...
Yeah, it just disappeared. He's done.
Yeah. So
he literally died as you were saying that.
He has 228,299 HP, so yeah.
What a way for the fight to end. He has a specific amount of HP as he's literally dying.
Yep. Well, since we pretty much skipped the boss fight, he will erect barriers to make himself immune to physical or magical damage, so you do have to be attentive and swap gambits accordingly. He also has a cutscene attack called Terra Flare, which we don't get to see, sadly.
Nope. We didn't get to see him do anything, really. That phase actually went faster than some of the previous ones.
Which is ironic.
Well, he does have the swords flying around him to, like, pull, targets away. Yeah, so that was Final Fantasy XII, and yes, that was incredibly anticlimactic, and I can't think of a better way to top off this playthrough than finishing a boss while horrendously overleveled. Because that's kind of how it's been the whole way.
Let's be honest, the real treat was like the the side quest stuff with Gilgamesh and Yasmin and Omega.
Yeah. Which I never planned on doing, aside from like Gilgamesh, so it was cool that I got to show it off at least. It did require a lot of grinding, which there are easy ways to do that in this game, but just time consuming. Basically, what I did is I went to... there's a room in the Henna Mines where you can click a button and some jellies will spawn in. And what happens if you take out those jellies with the break spell, which turns them to stone, you get the XP, but it does not count as killing them. And so they will keep respawning, because normally only a certain amount will spawn after so many, then they'll stop after so many have been killed. But if you kill them with break and stone, it doesn't count towards that, so you can just let the game sit there and they'll keep spawning and keep dying.
There is the other one that I've mentioned before. I think it's the Negelmer strat in the Still Shrine of Miriam. There's a rare enemy called the Negelmer who will spawn limitless undead that give experience and license point and drops, so you could just set up a set of gambits to not kill the Negelmer and just farm the undead zombies it's summoning.
Yeah. Those couple times that I actually went into the menu during this, you may have noticed that all my characters had something like 20,000 license points, because there's nothing left to spend them on.
Yeah, Final Fantasy XII, it's a game that if you know how to set up your gambits, it kind of literally becomes gameplays itself and can do a lot of the stuff that you need to do.
It's always funny that gameplays itself is the joke for 13, when it's more this game that plays itself.
That's true. I think it's more like for 13, it's auto battle the game.
It's auto battle, and it is very linear for the first half of it, so there's that. And yes, Jeppo was right. This game did get a sequel on the DS, and I do like it, even if I never completed it.
If I remember, it's Revenant Wings, and it's a bit more like Final Fantasy Tactics in that it's like a strategy game.
It's a strategy game, and you have to control units. It's real-time strategy rather than turn-based. So a bit tougher. I was never able to finish the final chapter. Didn't even get to the final boss. But even just like some of the stuff leading up to it in the final chapter was too much.
Sadly, I never played it, so...
Attention. This is Larsa Farinus Solidor.
My brother Vane has died with honor in battle.
I don't know about the with honor part, but he definitely died, and there was a battle. So at least 2 out of 3 is good.
They had to like make it sound good for their people.
The Lady Ash, thank the gods you live.
I confirm what Judge Magister Cabranth and Larsa Solidor have said here.
Oh, right, Bosch spoke as if he was Cabranth back there. I kind of missed that.
Evilise looks to the horizon.
A new day has dawned. We are free.
I hope everyone got out of the fortress, because, like, it's still falling.
It's okay, it hasn't exploded, and even when it does, don't worry, they have their parachutes.
It's a really good thing that shield is going to hold.
Take it, sir.
Hold. Hold.
Yeah, we're kind of running out of time. You don't need the full title.
The must not be allowed to fall on the city of Rabanasta.
We are preparing to ram her.
Do not interfere.
Madness.
Should she fall, the paling will not hold, and all Rabanasta will be obliterated. All ships, concentrate your fire on the Alexander's remains.
Good old Zargaboth.
Mm-hmm.
Clear the city.
One of the few judges that was actually still kind of a moderately decent person.
Balthier?
Mm-hmm.
Wait, Balthier, where are you?
Oh, Vaughn. Sounds like you made it out okay.
Yeah, Balthier's got to do his thing. He's still the leading man.
What does he think he's doing? Balthier!
Marquis, stop that fool judge on the Alexander for me, would you?
I had to like remind myself, who the hell is Zargaboth for a sec, because I couldn't remember.
I honestly don't remember.
I do know that they were included in Final Fantasy Brave Exvius. In fact, they were, I want to say, a global premiere unit. Like, they weren't even in the Japanese version. Global got them first.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, they were super good as a support.
He never dies.
Well, until, of course, power creep.
So why did Balthier do this? Like, I mean, I guess obviously he wanted to save the city. I guess that's the reason why, but maybe he just wanted to take the fortress for himself.
Probably.
Poor Fran.
Do I have to do everything around here?
Mist too strong.
Get out of Bahamut immediately.
Please, Balthier.
Sadly, the all-mist diet is not kind to Vieira's.
Balthier, come back.
I'd say you're in more of a supporting role.
Fran, please.
Regardless of anything else, I love these characters. You know what? Is Yuri Lowenthal in this game? I wouldn't think so.
If there's one scratch on her when I get back.
Roger that. We'll be waiting for you.
Oh, they are the English dub of Rex.
Ah, makes sense. I had to stop and think about Rex because I've been playing Xenoblade 2, so...
Wrong Rex.
Spelled differently in different character, yeah.
and plus, Rex is like gone within the first 30 minutes.
Uh-huh.
Or actually, no, first hour, we'll say, because a couple of flashback cutscenes.
Mm-hmm. Alright, well, I guess Balthier and Fran made it out alive.
I like how there's a thread on Game FAQs. Yuri Lowenthal, again, for Final Fantasy XIV. How old is this thread? 14 years ago.
Wow.
I mean, it makes sense, because back then, Yuri Lowenthal was, like, going in just about every single game.
I love this outfit for Pinello,
mm-hmm.
and I wish she wore it during the regular game. I think she keeps something similar to this in the sequel on DS in Revenant Wings.
I think so too, yeah.
She actually, in that game rather, she is a dedicated dancer class, I want to say. She's a dedicated healer, whereas she can be just about anything in this game.
It kind of makes sense that she's a dancer when you look at her quickenings in here, because they're very dance-focused.
Mm-hmm. And we're just going to leave the fortress there. Let all the flora grow over it.
The Leaning Tower of Rabanastre.
Next month. She grows farther and farther away from us.
Yeah, once again, unfortunately, pre-rendered scenes can only be so good upscaled, so everything's still a little blurry and grainy for these. But you know what? They still look kind of nice.
I will say, like, on the stream, it does look really good, actually.
Yeah. I mean, imagine what this looked like when this game came out in, what, 2004, whatever it was? This was nuts to think about back then.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I mean, now I wouldn't say it looks too great. Like, even if it was, even upscaled, like, if it were at the proper resolution, I wouldn't say this is great compared to stuff that's more recent. But, like, man, for the time, yeah, this was insane.
Yeah, for sure. Also, it's 2006.
Ah, okay.
So 2 years more advancements, we'll say, but still, it's really good for its time.
Favorite FF12 character? Balthier. Yeah, definitely Balthier.
I have to agree. Balthier, just because even though, like, he doesn't intend to be, like, comedy relief, he does provide comedy.
Balthier, Bosch, and Ash are, like, the best characters because they're the ones that are, like, actually characters.
Yeah.
No offense to the others, I guess, but Vaughn, Penelo, and Fran don't get much. Fran gets her one little thing in the woods, and that's about it.
Yeah.
And Vaughn and Penelo don't really get much at all.
Yeah, it's like one of the things I believe I mentioned before that I dislike Penelo and Vaughn being part of this journey because, honestly, they're just there for the ride after the mines.
Yep. They really... I mean, after they get Penelo back, there's really not much reason for them to continue.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously they want to get back at the Empire for everything that's been done, but that's so secondary. Also, that's a lead-in to the sequel, the Secret Cache at Globados, or whatever, is where that game starts off at. I believe that was Balthier returning Ash's ring, is what that was.
And of course we get this little funny scene of Penelo getting a piggyback ride.
Mm-hmm. For whatever reason, I think I may have mentioned this in a previous part, I remember a cutscene at the end of this game where Vaughn and Penelo kiss, and it must have been a fanfiction, I guess, because it's obviously not in the game.
I don't know, maybe it was secretly in Revenant Wings or something?
No, I think the romance has more implications in that game than it does here. But, yeah. Would you play a port of the FF12 DS game? Yeah. If they made the controls work well on, like, a modern system, sure.
I mean, we've definitely been seeing some companies do, like, older games as... Or porting games onto more modern consoles as collections and all that, so, yeah. Shout out to Capcom for their Mega Man Battle Network Legacy Collection.
Yeah, I mean, they made The World Ends With You work on modern consoles. Some people would probably argue whether it really works, but they made the game and it is playable in some form.
Mm-hmm.
I think the rest is just basic credits. So, what's your final thoughts on Final Fantasy XII, aside from this stuff, aside from the stuff that we've said so far?
It's definitely a game that is very different. Like, over the years, I've had, like, the opinion that it's Final Fantasy XI, but it's an offline version of the game, and part of me still thinks that way because of how, like, you explore the world and how you fight battles and all, but is that a bad thing? No, it's definitely a Final Fantasy game I think people should definitely give a try, especially with the Zodiac Age being on modern consoles and all.
Yeah, I could agree with that. It is a different game. It is pretty much unlike any other Final Fantasy game from start to finish. I think the Zodiac Age changes add a whole lot to it. Not just the combat changes, but the speed up is such a great thing for basically the entire game. I didn't plan to spend the whole game in speed up mode for, for this playthrough. But it worked out because it was just more fun that way. And we cut off so much time that was spent just running and watching the characters whack each other with sticks. and it just wouldn't have been that interesting in normal speed. So yeah, I think Zodiac Age is an excellent port. I think there's some pretty decent mods for the PC version as well. I think there's some that, like, changes how some of the loot drops and the bazaar work, so it's easier to get some of the stronger weapons and, like, treasure chests and stuff like that. So if you get a chance to do that, then I'd recommend it quite a bit because I think having better equipment at any given point makes the game a lot better.
Yeah, there's a lot of different mods, and just like looking over some of the more popular ones, outside of the usual typical, oh hey, mod loader, external file loader, Lua loader, you got, of course, like enhanced facial textures for the entire party to update them to like 4K plus graphics, or just make them look better on PC.
I don't think I would want the textures to be improved because they're already kind of creepy in the bad textures, and I don't think up-res textures would make them look better just because they're smoother.
And then you also have something like enhanced clothing, which updates the textures and the clothing colors to kind of like make them pop out more and look more noticeable. Or even, of course, reskins for different outfits. Yeah. And then, of course, you got the difficulty mods.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, like you get new license boards designed for each character, different mechanics, rebalanced equipment, and tougher enemies and all that.
I'm loving this artwork that's playing through the credits, showing through the credits, by the way. I've never sat through this.
I'll be honest, like, that does not look like Fran. That looks like a generic Viera.
It didn't look like Fran, no.
I don't know, maybe it's obviously it's all early stuff, so... And this does not look appropriate. Although, then again, this is Al Cid, now that I think about it, so Rosaria, which could actually be fitting, but that looks like modern Japanese school outfits.
Yeah, that looks like modern high school, uniforms, so I don't know. That one's a bit... I don't know about that one, Chief.
Yeah. And this looks exactly like it's from Final Fantasy Tactics, which makes sense considering the world and all.
Also, I'm pretty sure it had similar, like, original character designers, or it's probably just from the same artist. So yeah, I would say that if you're okay with the combat and don't hate the story and characters, then, this is a really good game. I think you just have to be in the right mindset or the right player style to be able to get through those things, though. I don't think it would be strange for someone to just drop this game because they don't like the combat or because they can't stand the characters or whatever. I don't think that would be too strange.
Yeah, I can agree.
I will say the music is good. I would say it's not some of my favorite stuff, but it's all... When you get back to it and, go through the sections again, it's always like, man, I love being here because the music's just so nice and that kind of thing. Before we finish up here with the credits, there is another thing I want to say. I want to give a big thank you to Bobbert WABC on Game FAQs. We've been using their guide for the entire playthrough, and it has been basically invaluable. We could not give a value to how much it has helped us. And I also want to give a thank you to jegged.com, Jegged, for the maps that they have there, which helped in a lot of cases, especially getting through the Great Crystal, because that place fucking sucks.
It does.
So big thank you to those two sources of information about this game for helping us, or providing the information that we needed, at the very least, to be able to, bring this playthrough to you, I guess, in a certain way, because this is a game where you kind of need to go out of your way to do stuff. The base game itself, and the stuff that it gives you, just normally without doing the extra stuff, is kind of bad, and that's what will make the game a lot worse if you don't go out of your way for stuff. I wouldn't say that everyone needs to do everything. You definitely don't need to go after Yasmat and stuff for every playthrough, or for even your first playthrough, or any playthrough whatsoever. But I would say at the very least, spend some time getting some better equipment, like when you get to each new area. More than you can get from just, buying it from a vendor or whatever. Although after a certain point, you're better off doing that for multiple reasons. But I would say keep a guide handy just in case. Because it's that kind of game. It's that kind of RPG.
It kind of sucks that like RPGs around this era were pretty much, oh hey, we got like all this stuff that you can do, that you can get, but if you don't know about it, you may lose it forever. In some cases, Tales,
and also a lot of side quests where the objective is extremely hard to parse on your own.
Oh, like it's very vague.
Yeah, extremely vague, and you could not possibly figure it out without a guide.
Yeah, that's just really dumb.
Also, kind of a common thing for RPGs, I'm not gonna lie. Especially in this era, I would say. There's probably a lot of things in Xenoblade that I couldn't have figured out on my own. Plenty of side quests, actually, in all 3 games. And, like, points of no return and stuff like that. There's so many in all 3 Xenoblade games. Where it's just like, you kind of need to look up something to figure out what we're doing. I can guarantee you that Final Fantasy XIII is not the worst game that Troy Baker has ever been in.
I can agree with that.
Final Fantasy XIII is not even that bad. I'm sure I could find something worse that he's been in. But on that note, I once again thank you all for watching. This has been an extremely fun playthrough. No, I do not want to do New Game Plus. But once again, thank you all for watching. I have no idea when I'm going to be streaming again. Next time will be more of Pokemon Emerald, and I'll be trying to finish that up, and we'll see what the future holds in terms of more streams. So once again, I've said this many times, but thank you all for watching. It's been great, and I hope we see you all on the next stream.
Take care.